All right, still talking fights. José Shorty Torres, you're a flyweight. We're going to talk about heavyweights, but not just heavyweights. Probably, no, I'm not going to say probably. Definitely the two biggest heavyweights on the roster, Francis Ngannou versus Alistair Overeem. Initial thoughts on this fight, because I think we were talking before, we don't think this is going to go past 1 round.
Yeah, I mean, these guys, I think you were telling me that Francis had the world record for the hardest punch, you know, so this guy is really trying to, you know, have a slugfest. But against Overeem, Overeem's a very, very technical fighter, but as his years progressed, you see him landing a couple shots and then running away, landing a couple shots and running away. I don't think Francis is going to allow that. You know, if Francis can land that one big one, we've seen that Overeem's chin hasn't been the same back, you know, when he was in Dream and Pride and all these other promotions. So I honestly see this leaning a little more towards Francis just because he is a strong puncher. He's a dominant young athlete that wants to push forward. And we've seen him go a couple of rounds where he has that conditioning compared to Overeem. He does eventually fold under the pressure. So if Overeem can't dominate in the first couple, you know, minutes in the first round, then I don't see this going a very, very long time.
And you made the point, like, you're leaning towards Overeem, and the odds makers are actually, I mean, you're leaning towards Francis, the odds makers are leaning towards Francis. But when you look at it on paper, Francis didn't start fighting until about 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Overeem has over 50 professional mixed martial arts fights, and he's a K1 champion. Does it surprise you that the odds makers are leaning towards, like, I don't even think he might be a little over 30, and Overeem has over 50 fights?
No, yeah, I think Francis right now is just a big-time up-and-comer. He's beaten some great athletes, one of them being my friend Curtis Blades, and Curtis Blades is right now dominating after that first loss in the heavyweight division. So it's a huge thing. Francis is really showing that he's a huge and dominant athlete. You know, he knocked out Andre Arlovski,
yeah.
and it's Andre Arlovski was on a tear. You know, eventually he knocked him out pretty easily, and he's already calling out the next fight. And one of them being Overeem. Overeem is a huge, scary guy, mainly because of his paper background, his resume, all the accolades he's been able to accomplish. It is a scary fight, but he's taking it with ease, and he's ready to take it. I believe, you know, if he wins this fight, he is in line for the next title shot.
So you don't think it's too much too soon?
I don't think it's too much too soon. He's been able to knock out some really well-rounded guys with huge resumes. Again, Andre Arlovski is one of the best in the world, and you know, former UFC champion, former UFC contender, and I just don't see this for Francis going more than 1 round. I think he's easily going to knock out Overeem, but again, Overeem has been, you know, pretty random at times where he just comes out of nowhere and does his thing. I do believe he's out of his prime, but again, Overeem is still dangerous. Overeem's Overeem,
right?
You know, and that's honestly what you can say.
So we both agree it's not going to go past 1 round. You're picking Francis, so I'll ask you, does it go past 2 minutes?
Oh man, I don't know. That really depends on what Overeem wants to do in the fight. I think Overeem is going to be the counter fighter in this war.
Right.
He's going to try to use his reach, trying to, you know, expose that jab, and maybe even try to kickbox a little more because Francis is such a dominant boxer. But really, it doesn't matter what, you know, what happens to Francis. He has taken a couple really good shots, and 2, if he lands 1 shot, he can pretty much end the fight. And with Overeem's chin in his last couple of years, you just don't, you know, you never know how it's going to go.
Right.
So overall, I'm 100% leading that it probably ends, you know, 3rd minute.
My goodness.
Yeah.
All right, picking Francis. I'll pick Overeem just to be different. There you go.